For more than 30 years, South Dakota has had a hate crime law.
But unlike some other states, that law does not include sexual orientation or gender. In tonight's Eye on KELOLAND, Sydney Hoyer explains how a change in the law could impact law enforcement and victims of future crimes.
South Dakota's hate crime law states that it's illegal to harass or harm someone based on their race, ethnicity, religion, ancestry, or national origin. It is a Class 6 felony with a maximum punishment of 2 years behind bars. But crimes against people based on their sexual orientation or gender identity are not included.
I think we've seen probably over the last decade, there's been kind of a rise of political rhetoric, targeting the queer community in South Dakota, specifically the transgender and gender diverse community.
One of those instances happened in September when officers were called to a Sioux Falls neighborhood. Police say a man was yelling derogatory statements at his neighbors based on their sexual orientation and breaking their tree branches. The man was arrested for disturbing the peace and intentional damage to property, both misdemeanor charges.
Those statutes are oftentimes used when the hate crime statutes don't apply. Last year in South Dakota, we had 25 reports of hate crimes. Oftentimes those crimes are covered by the assault or destruction of private property statutes. This year we've had 9 reports.
But despite the other laws that protect victims of those crimes, Brendan says a change would be reassuring.
I think it's a sign to the community, to the LGBTQIA+ and Two-Spirit community that the state is trying to make a safe environment for everybody and really create a place where people feel like they can make a life.
A change to that law would start with a discussion among state legislators.
I think what would happen is there would be an additional language added or recommended to be added. And that would go through a committee process where the public has a chance to weigh in and discuss their opinions about the topic.
After that, the House and Senate would have to approve it. If that happened, the legislation would land on the governor's desk, who would then decide whether to sign or not sign the change into law.
I think South Dakotans agree that no one should be targeted because of who they are. And so, if we have these categories, then it should include all people. And so I think those other groups need to be included.
But sexual orientation and gender aren't the only things that could be included in an amended law.
Somebody's disability could be a part of it. I think there's all kinds of categories of that people are involved in that could be included.
Putting forth the effort to adjust the law is something that members of the LGBTQ+ community would like to see.
We do have some very good legislators that advocate for the queer community in South Dakota, but the number is small. And so I feel like there's an opportunity for legislators, for the state government to really create that safe place.
Amending the law could also help law enforcement.
I think it would just give law enforcement additional tools. The ability still is we look to the more serious crimes first. That would be the assault statutes or the destruction of private property statutes. But that additional charge, if it is a hate crime and it's shown to be malicious, if it's shown to be intimidating.
So whether the issue is brought forward now or at the next legislative session, it could make an impact on many people, including Brendan.
I think South Dakota is a great place. I've lived here for over 50 years. There's a lot of good things about South Dakota, and I think this change in rhetoric that's happened over the last decade, I think can change again to the positive.
With Eye on KELOLAND, I'm Sydney Hoyer.
Representative Jameson suggested that the penalty for hate crime should be re-examined to determine whether the maximum of 2 years should be increased.